Yeah, welcome back to my video. Okay, in my last video, design of bridge slab, I have divided the entire problem into parts. Part 1 I have covered, where I have taken step 1, step 2 and step 3. I have completed till design dead load bending moment. Those who have missed it can again watch it before going to this video, because step 3 have been covered there. Now we will be going to step 4 in second part of my lecture series on design of bridge slabs, deck slab bridges. Okay, so our next step is step 4, live load bending moment. So we represent it as like this, M suffix LL. Okay, so live load bending moment. As you're all well aware, what is live load on the bridges? If you have seen my earlier videos, it is very clear what is live load here. So here live load is class A loading, a train of vehicles, which I have shown in my video 1 and video 2. Okay, now this is our live load bending moment. So we need to have the hard copy of IRC 5. Okay, so live load we have to find out. Now, as if you have seen my part 1 video of this series, so I have given clear carriageway. Clear carriageway is given in the question as 6.8 meters. Okay, so if you come back to the drawing of class A loading, okay, if you remember train of vehicles, the heaviest load axle is 114 kilonewton. Okay, so that is what I have placed here. So the distance between those two was 1.8 meters, or I can say 1800 mm. This is there in IRC 5. Okay, so now this is 1800 plus 250 plus 250. So it will be 2300. So when the carriageway width is 6.8 meters, so we can provide two lane bridge slab. Okay, that means one train of vehicle in one direction and the other train of vehicle or other vehicle in the opposite direction. So we are going, because the clear carriageway width is sufficient to provide 2 lane, we are going to design it as 2 lane bridge slab. Okay, because clear carriage width is this one, so it's a 2 lane bridge. So what we need to calculate is, first we need to calculate the value of G. Okay, so we need to calculate many distances here, because we have to fix up the distances. Fine. So first in this one is I am going to calculate the value of G. Hope you remember what is G. Okay, G is the minimum clearance distance. The minimum clearance distance between the two crossing vehicles. Because it is a 2-lane road, we need to have how much distance we have to keep this G. You can see this is one vehicle coming in the opposite direction like this. This is another vehicle, 2-lane road going in this direction. So what is the clear distance between these two? That is G. Okay, so that G also is been given by IRC. There is a table in the IRC 5. You can refer that. For your convenience, I have written it here. So clear carriageway width is 5.5 meter. Then the G value has to be provided 0.4 meter. If the clear carriageway width is 7.5 meters, then the value of G, that is this distance between the two crossing vehicles, outer edge to outer edge, must be 1.2 meters. Okay, now our carriageway width is 6.8 meters. You can see it is 6.8 meters, somewhere in between these two values. So you have to interpolate it and get the value of G. So most of you know how to do the interpolation and get the values, but still I'll just show you the formula from which you can calculate. So G is equal to 1 point, this upper value, G is equal to this upper value 0.4 plus what you can do is this G value 1.2 minus 0.4 divided by clear carriageway upper value minus lower value, that is 7.5 minus 5.5. this multiplied by the distance difference, that is 6.8 minus 5.5. What is required to us that? So like this, if you can remember the interpolation formula, easily you can calculate. Otherwise, by interpolation, you know how to do the interpolation. For this difference, the difference is this much. Then for this difference, how much? So that interpolation also you can obtain. So using this, I got the value of G as 0.92 meters. 0.92 meters. Okay, let us highlight this. 0.92 meters I got for my carriageway. So this value is now, G value is 0.92. This is from outer edge of the tire to outer edge of the crossing vehicle, right? So if you want center, so this is 250 and this is center is 250 because center line diagram is given. Okay, so this 250 because you know what is W. For W for class A, W, that is the width of contact area for class A is 500 mm or 0.5. Okay, now if I want center to center, I am drawing this series. So if I want center to center, then my G value, this value will become, you can see, of course G has become 0.92. 0.92. So center to center value will be 0.92. 0.92 plus 0.25 this side, half the wheel width and half the wheel width. So this becomes 0.5 plus 0.92. 0.5 plus 0.92. It will come to 1420, 1.42. Okay, 1.42. Okay, 1.42 meter. That details you can show it here. This is 1420. This is from here, center to center. Of course, edge to edge it is 0.2 meter. We have calculated it from this IRC provision. And this is how much? F is 0.15. You can see. So this is 0.15 plus 0.25. So this becomes 0.4. I need all these values. When I design, I need all this. That is why I am doing it. So this is 0.4. This is 1.8. If you want in terms of this thing meters, then this is 1.8 and this is 1.42. Okay, again this is center to center 1.8. You know this is from class A loading chart. Okay, 1.8 and again this is 0.25 plus 0.15. So this outcomes 0.25 plus 0.15 is 0.4. Like this you have got the complete width of the carriageway, and you also know that this is 600 meters or 0.6 meters. So this is 0.6 meters. Like this. Okay. So this whatever is remaining after this is not 0.4 actually. Okay. So whatever is remaining, that you can take it as the continuation, because exactly center we won't get it, right? So we have to place the loading like this. Okay. This is very well you have to understand. So the total carriageway width is 8 meters. Okay. So this will not be completely 8 meters. So I have removed this 0.4. Okay. So this is 0.25 of course. This is 0.25 fixed one. So whatever is remaining, that will be taken as the clearance on the right side or on this side. Any side you can take. Fine. So now you have to calculate the live loads. Okay. You have to calculate the live loads. Live loads. Okay. You have to place. To calculate the maximum bending moment is at the center of the span. Everyone knows maximum bending moment is at the center of the span. So you have to place the wheels. You have to place the wheels across the CG of the road, across the CG of the carriageway. Okay. So your carriageway, this is 5.86, exactly center one line. This is 8 meters, so exactly at 4 meters. Okay, exactly at 4 meters you have to draw center line. Okay, this is 4 meter, this is 4 meter. Okay, this 4 meters, you got it. You have to place to create the maximum bending moment, because we always design the slabs or any RCC member for maximum bending moments. So you have to place the wheel load, that is the highest axial loads, symmetrically across the CG of the road. You can see exactly same distance this side, same distance this side, same here, exactly. Okay, so like a mirror image, it has to be placed across the symmetrically about the centroidal axis of the slab. Okay, to create the maximum bending moment, we are doing this exercise. Okay, so you know what is maximum axial load? Maximum axial load, if you remember for class A, it was 114 kilonewton. Okay, so there are two axles separated by distance. If you remember, this was 1.2 meters. Okay, center to center, this was 1.2 meters for axial 1, axial 2. Okay, this is axial 1, axial 2. This is going in this direction, so we have to place it symmetrically about the centroidal axis of the slab. Okay, now the maximum axial is 114 kilonewton, right? So to get whatever load you are placing, this is a concentrated load. This is one axial, it is 114 kilonewton. Okay, this is one axial load. It will not be transmitted as a concentrated load, not as a point load. So this load, I'll just draw one figure, I'll try to explain you. Okay, suppose this is the road on which I am placing one axle, this axle. Okay, 114 kilonewton. Okay, there is another axle at a distance of 1.8 meter. So what happens is, this is wearing cord thickness, this is slab thickness. Okay, what happens is, this will not go as a point load, it gets spreaded. Okay, at an angle 45 degree, Okay, so this is getting spreaded at an angle 45 degree. This is H, this is G. Okay, so the load is not transmitting on the road as a point load, it is getting dispersed over an effective width, That is why this method of design is called as effective width method. Okay, so this method of designing deck slab bridge is effective width method of design. Okay, so when we are calculating live load bending moment, first thing what we have done is, we have found the value of G, that is the minimum clearance between the two crossing vehicles. Okay, because it's a two lane, there are two crossing vehicles. Fine. So mostly class A loading will be designed for two lane traffic only. Okay, in second step, what we did is we just placed the wheel loads symmetrically about the centroidal axis, and we calculated the total distances, center to center distances. Okay, now in third step, what we will do is, we will find out the effective width. Okay, I'm just rubbing up this one, this is not required to us. Fine. So in third step, we will find out the effective width. Okay, it is represented by D suffix E. Effective width over which the load is, okay, the wheel load is, to be specific, I should say the wheel load is dispersed. Okay, the wheel load is dispersed. This is what we are going to calculate in the third step of the step 4. Okay, so we are going to calculate the width over which the wheel load is dispersed. Again, if you check IRC 5, there a formula is given to calculate the effective width. Okay, so that formula I am writing down, BE is equal to KX into 1 minus X by L plus BW. So many terms we have to understand now. Okay, so first is K. What is K? K is a value which depends on Now if you have IRC 5, you can see in that K depends upon L by small l. Okay, there is a table where one column is L by L values, the other values gives the K value. What is this capital L? What is this small l? Capital L is the total width of the carriageway. Okay, small l is the effective span. So if you find some number, according to the number we get the value of K from IRC. From IRC, okay, we get these values. It will be for a single axle load. I have just dropped the diagram. I have shown you one single concentrated load is getting dispersed at an angle 45 degree. So for the width on which this load is getting dispersed at 45 degree is given by this formula. So first is what is the value of K? K depends upon L by L, and we have a table from IRC. So you can get the value of K. Okay. Then comes the value of X. So what is X? X is the centroidal distance. X is the centroidal distance, or I'll just remove this. It is the distance from the CG of load. CG means center of gravity. From the CG of the load to the nearest support. To the nearest support. If you have IRC for 5, you can check. Okay. So on the diagram, I am going to show you what is this X value. Okay. So for the time being, I will remove this. Okay. Now, where is the CG of the load? If I take this first axle, its CG is here. Okay. This to the nearest support. This is support. This is a column, and this is a column. So, see, center of the load to the nearest support is X value. Okay, we can calculate that. Because here the axles are placed symmetrically, so if this is X, this will also be X. This will be also X. So, X plus 1.2 plus X is equal to effective span, isn't it? So like that we can calculate the value of X. X is the distance of the CG of the load to the nearest support. Because in this case load is placed symmetrically above the centroidal axis of the road, it is same X and X. Okay, so that is the value of X. Again, what is L? As I said you, it is represented by capital L. So it is the, no, it is small l. It is small l. So it is the effective span. Okay. Then BW. BW is the width on which the load is in single tire. You have got 4 tires here. 1, 2, 3, 4. How much it is getting dispersed in the direction of motion. Okay. So BW I am going to show how to calculate. Again IRC 5. IRC 5 is giving the value of BW in terms of formula. So BW is equal to, this is in the direction of motion. Again across the span. In this across the span it is something else. Okay. In the direction of motion, BW is equal to W, width of tire, this W, okay, plus 2 into H. What is H? Thickness of the wearing cord. I will show you. This is the wearing cord. Okay, on this the load is there. Okay, so this is getting dispersed at 45 degree. Okay, so this 45 degree means if you draw a line, whatever is this distance, same is this one. So this is H, so this is also H. So this is also H, and this is W. So W plus 2H is the BW value. Okay, so in this way we can calculate the BE value. So effective width is completed. Fine. Now we will calculate for our problem the effective width. Okay. the effective width we will calculate. First is K. So K value is L by L means here L is 8 meters and small l is 5.86. 8 by 5.86 you will get a value of 1.365. 1.365. Now if you refer the table of IRC 5, you get the value of, okay, no, this is the value of L by L, I'm sorry, this is the value of L by L. So for this value of L by L value, we get K from table. So the value of K, I'm just taking it, is 2.772. If you refer the code, you will get, okay. So 2.772 from table of IRC5 we got it. For this L by L value, K is given. Like if you see the table, there will be L by L and there will be K value, okay. So for 1, for 1.2, for 1.4, 1.6, K values are given. So because it is 2.77, you can see 2.8 also, okay. You can see 2.8, fine. So like this we got. Now calculation of X. How much is X? X is very easy. Already I have shown you on the diagram. X plus 1.2 plus X will be equal to 5.86. So I am using the same tactic to calculate X. X plus 1.2 meter is equal to 5.86. Or simply X is equal to 5.86 minus 1.2 by 2. So we get the value of X as 2.33 meter. So this is required for us to calculate BE. Okay? Fine. Now BW we have to calculate. So I have given you already the formula. BW is equal to W plus 2 into H. So your W is 0.5, 500 mm for class A loading. Thickness is 0.075. So this comes out to be 0.15. So 0.5 plus 0.015 comes to be 0.65. So you got period. So all the values are with you. Simply calculate the effective width on which the load is getting dispersed. So it's Kx. Kx into 1 minus x by L plus BW. So let me calculate. K is 2.772. 2.772 into x. X value is 2.3. Okay, 2.3 into 1 minus, the x value is again 2.33. L is effective span 5.86. Multiply this everything plus add 0.65. So this comes out to be 3.89 plus 0.65. So BE is equal to 4.54 meter. Okay, the width on which the load is getting dispersed from a single axle is 4.54 meter. Here understanding is required very much. You can see in this carriageway width there are 4 wheels. Okay, so one wheel is getting distributed over a length of 4.54. Another 4.54. Another 4.54. Another 4.54. So what is happening? The distance, center to center distance is 1.8. So 4.54, if you half it, it will be 2.27. 2.27 this side. So that means 2.27 this side, which is only 1.8 meters gap is there. In that 2.27 disbursement means the dispersion of one tire is overlapping the dispersion of another tire. Are you getting my point? So if you want, I'll just draw one diagram, simple diagram. Suppose this is one axle, this is one axle. Okay? Separated by distance of 1.8 meter. This is again after some distance of 1.42, one axle, again 1.8, another axle. Okay? Some space is there. So this is getting dispersed to half of this, 2.275. Then 2.275. Together it is 4.54. Then here it is 2.75, 2.75, 2.75, 2.75. So you can see they are getting overlapped. You can see it is getting overlapped. So what we can do, because whatever dispersion is to take place, it has to take place within the total carriageway, that is within this 8 meters. If we add up 4.54, it will hang in the air beyond the width of the bridge slab, which is highly not possible, isn't it? Whatever load has to be carried, that has to be carried by the slab, not by the portion beyond the slab. So what we can do is, we have to recalculate the value of BE. We have to recalculate the value of BE. How are you going to calculate the value of BE? So this 3.89 is fixed. We cannot do anything. Okay? So 3.89 is fixed. This BW we have to change. What is BW? W plus 2H, where W is the width of one tire. So what you have to do is, you have to calculate this total. See, what I am doing is, so this is total like this. I am removing the axles. I am showing it as a load dispersion like this. This is the load dispersion. Okay, so we have to calculate this 4 wheels width as a single width. From this workout, what I have done, I should not have rubbed it. Okay, what I have done, so from this we have to calculate. So this complete I have to take as the BW. Okay, so I have to calculate BW, which I am doing it. You can see. You can see how I am going to calculate. Actual formula for BW is W plus 2H. This W I am calculating for 4 tires together. So very carefully you have to observe simultaneously both at the figure and here. So I am starting from here. Okay, this is point from tire. Okay, so this is 0.25. Okay, so 0.25. I am starting from here. You can see here, from here. So this is 0.25. I am taking these 4 tires together, 0.25. Then this center to center distance is 1.8 plus center to center distance is 1.42 plus I am here now. 1.42 means I am here. Then again 1.8 plus 0.25. 1.8 plus 0.25. So 4 tires together. No F's, only this. So this comes out to be, BW comes out to be 5.67 meters. So when BE is exceeding 1.8 meters, because the spacing is 1.8 meters between tire to tire. It is more than 4.54 meters for a single tire. So when it is exceeding 1.8 meters, that is the distance between the 2 tires, then we have to calculate the BW. In BW, this W as a single, this complete 4 tires as a single tire. Okay, that W we have to calculate. So if you want, I'll show you like this. So this combined you have to take it as a single W. So that W, by mistake I have written here at 5.67. It is not 5.67, it is 5.52. So once you calculate W, come back to the formula. BW is equal to 5.52 plus 2 into 0.075, which comes out to be 5.67 meters. So now we will redesign or we will revise the value of BE. Okay, same here. Okay, I am coming back here. What I am doing is I am going to change the value of this. Earlier it was 0.65. Okay, so now what I will do is I will just change this 0.65 because your BW is changing. Only BW is changing. BW is becoming 5.67. So I will make it as 5.67. So this effective width is for all the 4 tires together. Okay, there is no question of overlapping. Okay, it's for a single merged tires like thing. Okay, so it's coming out to be 9.56 meter. 9.56 meter, which is more than the total carriageway width. Which is more than the total carriageway width. So whatever load is coming from the tires, from the wheels, has to be borne by the road, that is carriageway, not by the other elements, isn't it? So whatever load is coming, this has to be carried by the entire width of the slab 8 meters. So when this is more than the total carriageway, you have to restrict BE as the total carriageway width. If it is coming less than total carriageway width, well and good. Maybe it is 7.23, whatever comes, that is well and good. But if it is exceeding the total carriageway width, okay, we cannot say the portion beyond this and portion beyond this, it will be air. It will be open air. So we cannot expect that to carry the load. So the load has to be carried by the 8 meters. So BE is 8 meters. Okay, so the span on which the total load is getting, load of the 4 tires getting dispersed is 8 meters. This is very, very important for you to understand. Okay, first I did it for a single tire. Okay, when it is more than 1.8 meters, then I calculated BW again with this W as a 4 tires together. So 4 tires together I got this value. Then I calculated BW, that I replaced with here BW, I got this one. Again this is exceeding the total carriageway width. I have restricted the width of dispersion to 8.8 meters. Okay, 8 meters. Now whatever live load you can see, okay, I am just drawing it again for our understanding. The 4 tires, some rough diagram I am drawing. So this is getting dispersed over a length of 8 meters. Okay, how many axles are there? Okay, this is one axle, this is one axle. Okay, so live load per meter width of slab. We are going to calculate live load bending moment, no? So live load per meter width of the slab I am going to calculate. Live load per meter width of slab is equal to, there are 2 axes because it's a 2 lane, not like this, like this. There are 2 axles. Okay, so 2 axles, each axle is 114 kilonewton. So 2 axles 114 kilometers. If it's a 3-lane road, 3 into 114. If it's a 4-lane, 4 into 114 divided by BE, that is 2 into 114 by 8. So this live load is going to, it's arriving at 28.5 kilonewton. It's per meter, already I have given live load per meter width of slab. So it will be kilonewton for 28.5 kilonewton for 1 meter width of this one slab. Okay, now this was our 3rd step. So calculation of BE was our 3rd step in step 4. Okay, so next thing what you have to find out is dispersion along span. Dispersion, because slab when we design it, we are going to design along the span. Okay, so along the span means this way. I am just trying to draw the figure again here. So if I draw the cross section of this is support column, this is support column. First I will get the deck slab thickness, okay, then I get wearing coat thickness, okay, then this load, you know, I have already erased this. What is that load? 28.5 kilonewton will come here like this, and this load like this. Again that gets dispersed like this. Okay. Now you got the live load as per meter width of slab as 28.5 kilonewton from these two axes. 28.5 kilonewton per meter in the form of UDL. This is 28.5 kilonewton per meter in the form of UDL. Now if I cut a section here, you can see this is support, one column, this is another support, another column. Okay, I'll just draw it more far. This is one support, this is another support. On this first deck slab will come. Thickness, I am showing the section. This section I am cutting, I am showing the thickness of the slab, 400 mm, then wearing coat, 75 mm. Okay, now this load is 28.5 kilonewton. This load is 28.5 kilonewton. This is the span, effective span. How much it was? 5.86 meters. Okay, now on this again the loads get dispersed at an angle of 45 degree. This is code provision. I am not telling from my side. So again this point load is getting dispersed at an angle of 45 degree. So the length across which it is getting dispersed across the span is represented by small letter B. So this is the width of dispersion along the span. Okay, along the span. Now if I draw a rough figure, suppose this is the river flowing water. Okay, in this I am constructing the bridge. Okay, so this is my effective, this is the carriageway width and this is the span. One span, two span, like this I will get. Fine. So that is 5.86 meters. On this it is getting dispersed over a distance of small b, and that b is given by IRC again. The formula is given as b plus 2 into h plus d. So you have the values. B is for class A loading, it is 250 mm is the B and 500 mm is W. 500 mm already I have used when I have calculated the BE in this direction. Okay, now I am calculating effective span in this direction. Okay, effective, yeah, then plus 2 into 0.075 plus 400 mm means 0.4. So this is coming out to be 1.2 meters. So this load, this 28.5 kilonewton is getting dispersed over a length of 1.2 meter. For a better understanding, instead of showing the figure in this way, I will try to rotate this figure horizontally. Okay, try to understand. You should have the feeling to understand, otherwise the problem becomes complicated. So this is my one support. Let me say this is A support. Okay, so this is the 5.86 meters. Okay, another support will come. Okay, so then I have to draw these loads. Fine. So if I take the center line out of 5.86 meters, okay, I'll take down first 5.86 meters. Okay, this is the span on which 2 point loads are going to come. So if I draw it center line, okay, half of 5.86, that is 2.93 meter on this side and 2.93 meters on the other side. Okay, so now I am placing this load, this distance, the distance between the two is 1.2 meter, means 0.6 meters from center line, 0.6 meters. Okay, so 600 mm center, I will draw one axle. So this is axle 1 with the load of 28.5 kilonewton. Okay, so this distance is 600. Again, because this distance is 1200 mm center to center. So this is 600 here center diagram, then 600 mm. Again at 600 mm, I get another concentrated load, and this is the axle 2. So this is axle 2 with a load of 25 kilonewton. So this is axial 2. Fine. Now when this is getting dispersed, okay, I'll draw this H and then this D. This is getting dispersed over an angle of 45 degree, okay, like this. This is also getting dispersed like this. So by coincidence, this dispersion is also 1.2 meter. Just a coincidence. This 1.2 meter is class A loading center to center axial distance. Okay, this 1.2 meters is dispersion. So now if I take this as my RA, okay, I can calculate maximum bending moment. You know, bending moment is maximum at the center. Now I am going to calculate the bending moment, maximum bending moment due to live load. Okay, so it is at the center. So finally I am going to calculate maximum bending moment due to live load or wheel load. You can say live load or wheel load. So I can calculate from this RA. So you can see this is 28.5 means RA is also 28.5 kilonewton, RB is also 28.5 kilonewton. So you can know how to do it. Maximum bending moment due to live load, or you can write wheel load is equal to 28.5 into 2.93 minus again 28.5 into 0.6. I am taking the moment about this center line. Okay, so this RA into 2.93 minus 28.5 into that distance 600 mm. Okay, so I got finally the bending moment due to live load or the bending moment due to wheel load as 66.405 kilonewton meter. So with this, step 4 is completed. Our step 3 I have calculated dead load bending moment in part 1 of my design of bridge slabs. Now in part 2 I have completed entire part 2 was dedicated to live load bending moment. I have calculated, I have shown you how to put the live load, how to calculate the dispersion loads, everything I have tried to cover it. So this is part 2. Still more steps are there. Out of 9 steps, today I have completed, in this class I have completed step 4.